Hey guys, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for love sessions. So this is my timeless series, love sessions videos, and I'll do 5 in this series. You guys can watch the extended in the Vimeo down below, and I'll do 5 free videos on YouTube. So we'll go back and forth and give you some nice energy. This is Palo Santo from Peru, and so I'm excited to kind of open up the ceremony with that. I also have my little Nirvana quartz. So happy, so nice. So I'm excited to bring that for you as well. We'll leave the Palo Santo in the corner. No autofocus yet, so hey girl, hey. So I'm excited to be here. The way these videos work is we're going to really get to the bottom of a love question or a person that you have. So there will be 5 consecutive videos that I'll do on this topic, and we'll just really dive in and see as much as we can about this relationship. So hopefully that will work for you. And no set design. Maybe for the last video I'll do the heart spread. So that'll be fun. Okay, so let me know what you think about this series, and if you want to get the Vimeo, it's down below. Make sure to comment and like the videos that you're watching. That's good karma for you, and it's really helping me, so thank you so much if you do that. Okay, great. So your first card is, I don't know what card this is. It's the 5 of Cups, I think. 5 of Cups. It is the 5 of Cups. Ooh, I was looking at this card, I'm like, what is that? 5 of Cups, some disappointment. King of Wands. Somebody has wanted to persuade a situation to go in their direction, and it just hasn't been going in the way that they hoped. I feel like they overstepped some boundaries. Here's the Queen of Wands. I was actually shuffling to the side so to get this next card, and then we have the 9 of Wands. So lots of Wands energy. We'll just start with four cards to begin with, and then we'll kind of look at it a little bit further. Maybe a angel card for a word to just give us a good start. So resilience. Okay. Yeah, so it was a battle of wills with regard to a relationship. That's the history of a relationship. I just hold this to the side. There's a history to this relationship in which someone sought out something in a relationship and wasn't getting what they wanted, particularly the man, and then in rejection he tried to willfully overpower, manipulate a woman to his beckoning, to what he wanted in a situation, even though she didn't want to, and the more that he pushed, the more she became offended. Even that face, it's like, how dare you? And so I think she's gotten to a place where she feels safe again. And I think he's left, and I think that he was escorted out in some way, saying like, you gotta go home, buddy. This is not welcome. This is not the right way to go about picking up girls. And it's all kind of she's disappointed that it was him, that it wasn't Bobby next door who she likes. And he was disappointed because he was rejected yet again by another girl because he's a creep. Okay, so the situation has become sort of balanced and ordered, and there's been a lot of resilience. He has a resilience for accepting what's going on, and she has a resilience for standing in her truth and in her power. I have these house cards which will tell us what house they were talking about here. This has a lot to do with the 2nd house of money. And so the 2nd house of money, we know what it is about, but it's also about looks and appearance, right? It's also about the way we look, with the things we have, the clothes we wear. And so I feel like it wasn't that he didn't have money. She's not a gold digger, but I feel like it had to do with how he tried to acquire her was indicative of how he tries to get things in life. And that was really off-putting to her, because I think she's probably a pretty hard worker. And so this can be, the gender relations can change for your situation, but and it's like a disappointment, like, how can I attract that? Like, why do I attract that? Like, what about me makes me attractive to that? Well, probably your hard work, actually, because, you know, lazy people like to latch on to, but we're hardworking people. And we have Mercury next, which is how you think, communicate, write, talk, and travel. So this is the communication card, the card of communication and saying your truth. There could be potentials with regard to communications, financial potentials with regard to communications. I feel like by being by herself, she can actually create something new, a new financial direction. Again, if this is flip-flopped where we are talking about a man, right? And like this being a woman and this being a man, in that personal space, she's able to create something positive that will yield for her money. So she can leave it's badgering, right? At the cost of her time and at the cost of her energy, he badgered her and caused her this situation. She's no further ahead. He isn't, but he wasn't a gentleman. He was just exploitative. Okay, so I'm going to put 4 cards here that are love cards. Can you see my hand? There we go. So 4 love cards. The 3 of Hearts. There was an overall, one person or both people were very interested in having lots of fun and lots of joy in relationships. So, you know, lots of different directions that they wanted to explore, learn about. And there was this release and metamorphosis that she was going through, and it kind of took her out of it because she was trying to stay pristine and do her energy work, and he came along and tried to overpower her. Men have such a history, no offense guys, but men have such a history of dominating women. You know, when countries would battle, the first line of attack was the women of the villages that would be attacked by the military. So it's like across the world there is all these kinds of examples of this, and these narratives are super ingrained in our culture, and we say, oh, it's over, like we've had our revolution and now we've kind of come to terms with our thoughts and overcome our thoughts and ideas. And you know, lo and behold, I'm changing the direction of this. Lo and behold, it's still deeply with us, right? Like women and men are still deeply within this kind of dynamic. The next message is, and we're both suffering, both sides. 3 of Stars is the coming back of energy. So it's like you push something away, you cut something out, disappointment happens, okay girl, next. And then new things are coming in from the distance. This reminds me of a train that's coming in towards you in the snowfall. I know that's not what the picture is, but to me it seems as though that has something to do with that. This is the 3 of Swords. Oh, so something's visions. 3 of Wands. Sorry, yeah, that makes more sense. So this is something coming through to you as a vision. Sorry about the lighting. So something coming through as a vision for your understanding. So there is a lot of learning here that can happen. We have 5 of Angels. See, that's the sad thing about this situation. She just doesn't want to be a part of it because she's gone through something, right? She doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to. The sad thing about it is that this person was so egotistical about what he wanted from her and from the relationship that he imposed upon her his desire. He imposed upon her his agenda, and she had to take it all. That's why she's in such shock. I like this card. I like the expression of like, what did you do? And like, he's like, I'm leaving. And it's like, but there's consequences. Now I have to sit here and think of consequences, right? And so I feel like there's all this, and maybe even financial consequences as she can't focus on her work. And, you know, this guy just kind of dozed off. Maybe he made promises to her that were financial in nature, and now he dipped. How many moms know about that, hey? Here is the next message. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. I feel like it's wearing her out. She feels worn out by the energy of exploitation, and he's kind of, this is the douchebag. So I think that this is a historical reading. I don't think this has to do with the immediate moment. This person could have even been a soulmate. The star was on the bottom of that deck. But I feel like in some way it was a learned lesson that scathed her and caused her. These cards in and of themselves are not necessarily so bad on their own, but they are scathing, they are limiting. And so, in some way, it's off-putting to see it. We have the shadow, right? So being exposed to the shadow, that's the real victimization of a lot of crime. It's like the exposure to something dark, sinister, having to contend with that, the sadness that comes with it. It's like, why can't he left her in this position of being downtrodden, right? So it sounds like it's a pretty sad story, but remember, this is episode 1, and we're going to get into this more deeper on Vimeo. I'm not leaving quite yet for that, to do that for you, but I did want to clarify. Let's pick a couple more cards from this deck, whatever this deck is called. Communication, second house, and money. So honey, where are you going next? Let's see what this honey bunny's up to. Okay. We have the shadow, broken promises, an ending. It's just like, it's a catch-22. If she continued, she would have been in a bad situation. And if she stayed, she would have been in a bad situation. So it's like really, really lowbrow behavior. Very kind of, you know, where are you coming from to treat her like that, you know? That's where my mind goes. So we have the Prince of Cups, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. This is the legacy. And the Six of Rods, which is victory. So I feel like somebody's going to come in to protect her from it. I think somebody saw what was going on. Maybe a friend or maybe a relative in some way saw what was happening and came in to offer her, you know, kindness and support. Then there's the World. And so I think this represents that there is some type of travel in the far distance. I think that she will change her environment. And when she changes that environment, then things will go alongside it in a more positive route for her. She needs to really pull herself out of this energy and move over to completely new surroundings, completely new people. She doesn't have to move, but she needs to change the scene. So we have the Princess of Wands comes to the rescue. She's like, hey girl, hey. Princess of Wands is like, hey girl, hey, let's party. Screw this guy, let's do this. she's the resolution, and she's fun, you know, and she doesn't like bad scenes. She doesn't like the way men treat women sometimes, or women treat men, but she doesn't like when people treat other people badly. And she shows up, but she's not going to talk about it. She's just going to get her drunk or something. No, she's going to distract her, right? And she's going to bring in some good times and a break from, you know, douchebaggery. Last year, I was telling you guys, I went through something similar. I was watching, when I was doing the Virgo videos, those of you guys who have Sun, Moon, Rising, Virgo, I was like, who is this king of... It was that situation, exactly. Same thing, you know, just... Let me force feed you my presence. You know, yeah. It's like creepy man dude. Okay, so here we go. We have, yeah, so the Devil, bad intentions, and not self-aware, you know, not self-aware, bad intentions, not a good friend. Prince of Swords, continuation of the Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, you know. It's my way or the highway. Might is right. All the mottos. And the inability to solve that situation that led to a complete devastation of circumstances. So she comes in, the Princess of Wands, and in some way she sees the Queen of Wands in some way devastated by all this. And it's not just this guy, it's the accumulation of the barriers to her success. Her success comes, her financial success, her operational success comes in the form of communicating, you know, something to do with communications. I used to be a copywriter. That was my first job in marketing, was copy editing, copywriting. And so my background's in journalism. So anyway, so that's how I got into that. And so like, if you don't have a calm mind, if you don't have a good environment and enough serenity to be able to think, writing is very, very difficult, right? Very, very difficult. And this person created barriers. Do you see this? It's like the devil. Like, it almost looks, I didn't know these cards were going to come up that way, right? So we're kind of painting a picture here with cards. So we're seeing the picture come through. So I think this, in summary, because I should probably go to Vimeo and look at it deeper, to me it seems as though the construct of the situation is about denial of personal power and the exploitation by secondary parties that leave a person just distracted and in disarray. And yes, there have been men who have come to shield and to support. However, I feel like it's a young female that actually helps to regenerate and offer credible opportunities in a different direction. And I think it's this young female who understands the Queen of Wands plight, in that there is a barrier to her success in terms of her career, and how that's manifested in man after man after man. So she's not going gay. Well, maybe some, but this Princess of Wands in some way is gonna, I think, be the catalyst in order to break down the wall and to help her gain access to her communication, her throat chakra, as well as the second house, which is money, you know, and appearance, an expression of self. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was pretty deep, hey, for a love session, number 1. So come back again for number 2. And we'll keep them kind of separate, so you don't have to buy the Vimeo. But if you do want to get a Vimeo reading of this, I'm going to film it right now. Okay? Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.